So the head of legal, as we've said, Heidi, on the stand today, those red flags were raised, but there were major legal issues. What were those?
Exactly, Jeremy. So it's very important to note that Steinhoff, the PIC had exposure to Steinhoff, and this was done through a company called Lanchester. And the major legal issues was when Lanchester came to the PIC the first time, acquiring shares through its company the first time, and they wanted Steinhoff International shares. And then at a later stage, they acquired shares. They wanted shares through Steinhoff South Africa. But the major legal issues here were the fact that there was no security agreement in place. And this was because Lanchester refused to sign these security agreements, and there were major issues with that. But despite all of this, the PIC continued and went forward and got those shares in Steinhoff International as well as Steinhoff South Africa. And you do, of course, know that there was that massive corporate scandal that happened with Steinhoff, of course, putting those shares and that investment at major risk, which you later saw happening with government employees' pension funds losing billions because of that corporate crash. But the major issue here was the fact that there was no security agreement in place, and this was raised by the legal department time and time again. But despite this, the PIC went forward and acquired those shares through Lanchester.
All right. Another major issue, Heidi Jokos, was that the PIC was willing to invest in an entity called STAR a few months after Steinhoff International was already at risk and performing so badly. Give us that thread and sequence. Maybe start off by telling us what STAR is.
Exactly. So STAR is shares within on the African continent. So it's Steinhoff Africa, whereas Steinhoff International is more of the European Steinhoff. But you have a situation where, despite all the risks, the PIC continued and went on acquiring those shares. And the PIC got involved with these two transactions and Lanchester without them being able to protect their investments, which is a major risk, of course, because you have to have a security agreement, and you have to have security arrangements with the person that's coming forward and asking for you to invest in their company, which in this case was Lanchester. So the head of legal dealing with all of these legal agreements and saying that despite all the red flags, the PIC went forth and invested into Steinhoff STAR as well as Steinhoff International. And this was done months after. The PIC invested into STAR months after there were major concerns about Steinhoff International, and that the Steinhoff International share price had been dropping significantly already.
All right, let's just round this off very quickly then. Going on to say, this is the head of legal, that the PIC rushed deals and security agreements to get shares in both Steinhoff International and Africa. Again, just simplify that for me.
Yes, so you have a situation where, Lanchester approached the PIC and asked them to invest into Steinhoff International shares, and it was just, she claims it was done almost in an unethical way. There was a push. It was almost as though the PIC was adamant in getting those Steinhoff International shares as well as STAR shares, which is Steinhoff Africa, despite the fact that there was no security agreement, really putting government employees' pension funds at risk, because you must remember that the PIC's biggest client is government employees' pension funds. But basically you have a situation where the PIC went forward, no security agreement had been signed, and then you had the major corporate crash of Steinhoff International in 2017, which of course cost the PIC billions of rands. But the big issue here was that there was no security agreement from the very start, despite the fact that the legal team had sent emails time and time again to Dan Machila, to the various people involved, to Lanchester, saying we need a security agreement, and this was still not fulfilled. And the PIC went forward and invested into Steinhoff Africa, and now you have a situation where the PIC has lost billions because of that bad investment.
All right, Heidi Jokos, thank you.